Do you like trains, Dan?
Do you mean?
I feel like you'd be a train guy. I don't know. I'm just curious.
No, I'm not a train guy. I mean, am I antithetical to the concept of trains? No. Do I like riding on trains? I enjoy riding on trains. I'm not like a person who like wants to stand in a field and wait for trains to go by and then know who they are and go like, 1747, it'll soon be in San Francisco. I don't like to do.
Okay, sure.
I mean,
sure.
I like the concept of toy trains, but I've never collected toy trains. I'm a fan of the.
That's where my head was. I imagine you with the cap and the overalls down in your basement playing with a little toy train. I can see you doing it.
My dad's friend had a toy train set up in his basement, and we went and saw it. And when we were kids, and I was like, yeah, no,
it's not that great.
I mean, I like model making, but it just seems like the end product of a toy train is just not very exciting. Just like
it's not as cool as okay, yeah, sure. I get that.
I see that it'd be if you were gonna like spend a bunch of time to make one that was going to be on display in a museum or something, I'd be like, I'd see how that would be fun, but I would not want to fill up my entire basement with a toy train
with miniatures,
which would then just sort of sit. The act of conducting a tiny train that's a 0 for me. It's not even a 1 or 2 or 5 or 8%. It's like literally a 0.
That is a 0 for me.
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan, and I might turn on a light later.
And I'm Tony, and I am perfectly lit, as always. 10 out of 10, me.
That's my big light.
Great job. So not much later. When you said later, you meant seconds.
No,
just seconds
that's a test.
It creates a harsh contrast on your face when you do that.
I used to do the light all the time, but it gets warm in here, and I don't like. Well, I like being warm, but I don't.
Nah, if I could pick one, I'd be cold 24/7.
I like being cold. I like being just right. I'm the mother bear.
What is
bear.
just right to you? You're the Goldilocks. You're not a bear.
Baby bear.
The bears don't ever get it right, Dan.
No.
Goldilocks. Who gets it right?
Baby bears. Because dad is too cold. Mom is too. But the baby bear's food is just right.
Just right. Okay, yeah. You're right. What does Goldilocks do then? Nothing? She's just eating their food?
She's testing their food. And one's hot, one's cold. It doesn't make any sense. If they left like porridge or whatever there, none of them, they would all be cold.
None of them would be good. They would all be the same exact amount of cold.
Yeah, like you leave something like that out, it's just like
it's 5 minutes, it's done.
Yeah, if I
done.
If I make a bowl of pasta, it is cold by the time I get to the bottom. So they put it on
without a doubt.
Heated plate when they give it to you at
the old restaurants. Ristorante. You heard it here first, folks. Goldilocks debunked.
So this show.
Yeah, what is this show? What is this show about, Dan?
We watch a movie and then we snark at the movie. We snark at the movie, each individual little bit of a bit. Every little thing that we can pick at. We pick at every scab. Every movie scab. And we make them worse.
Ugh, I don't like that visual. I would like to, let's get a different visual. Okay. I don't like scabs. You know what I mean?
Open wounds.
Are you one of those people that eats your scabs? Have you heard this? People do this.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He grew up and he realized it was disgusting.
Maybe I did as a kid. Maybe I did. I don't know.
I don't. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I don't understand it. No offense to anyone that does it out there. To each their own. But it's disgusting, and you're a gross person.
Why? It's part of you.
Yeah, but it's the bloody part of you.
There's like African tribes that drink blood for they drink blood and they mix it with cow.
Well, those are called vampires.
No, normal people. No,
Did you say milk?
Yeah, that's what. There's like a whole African tribe, and we were watching something and they got offered it. They were like, "You want some of this blood and milk mixture?" And they were like, "No, thank you."
I think I'm okay, but I appreciate the offer.
I'd try it.
Whose blood is it?
Oh,
Is it your blood?
It's the cow's blood. So they take the cow's blood and the cow's milk.
Okay, and the milk. So you're just you're really getting all the fluids out of this guy.
Yeah,
okay,
all the fats and the proteins out because there's
you gotta use every part.
There's gonna be a lot of protein, I think, in blood, right?
Sure. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of iron in it. So.
We watch a movie.
This one's gonna go well. I feel good about this episode.
I think this is the right way to start this one, and I'll explain why. Tony, why don't you tell us what movie it is?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I have no idea what year it is. 27.
Just why don't you say the name of the movie? Then I'll put
the name of the movie is, of course, Gemini Man, starring William Smith and William Smith.
2019. This movie came out in 2019. An hour and 57 minutes.
That's tough.
I didn't hate this movie.
I mean, I don't hate the movie because it's super basic.
It is
like there's not much to hate in the movie.
They do a really good job of just making a movie you just completely understand. No twists. No turns.
None at all. In fact, like anything that could be possibly a twist, they let you know hours in advance.
Very telegraphed.
And this is the kind of movie, because I did watch this on the plane.
Oh, okay.
And it's the perfect plane movie, right? Because I was sitting aisle seat, okay?
Aisle seat.
And I don't know if you ever sat aisle seat on a 4-hour flight, but people get up and they keep going. Like this lady next to me. I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast. She had to go to the bathroom like 9 times, which is usually super annoying. But with this movie, I didn't care. I took off my headphones. I set it down. I just left the movie playing. Came back. I understood everything. Didn't miss a single thing. So it's the perfect plane movie.
I think there was only like one piece of true character information in this that I was like, oh.
That he's afraid of drowning?
Oh,
allergic to bees.
Those are not character things. Those are plot contrivances.
They sure are. It's so fun when they listen. They're like, "Oh, you afraid of anything?" Oh, deathly allergic to bees. Well, I guess that's going to come into play at some point. Why else are you telling me this randomly? Great stuff, guys.
When Clive Owen is talking to Junior, and he's like, you know, at the end of it, he's like, "You want to get a bowl of cereal? Want a bowl of cereal as your treat?" I was like, "That's really weird. It's really weird."
And it's for sure that I bet that's just Clive being Clive, you know, because he seems like a quirky guy to me.
Like this movie has Clive Owen in it as the bad guy, and you're just like, he's kind of a bad guy.
Do you disagree with him? I mean, we can talk about it more once we go through all of it, but I find myself kind of on his side.
I mean, just like every character in here, they're just caricatures, and so it's just like, I'm going to teach you to be a man, so I'm going to be so hard on you. It's not even tough love. It's just I'm being tough to you.
It's just tough. Yep, it's just tough for tough's sake. Yeah, I know how that goes, Dan.
I really wanted to put on one of the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies, which
you should. You should always want to do that because they're great.
I think I watched. I watched some of them. Maybe not all of them. And man, the action in those movies pretty intense. Mm-hmm. And I have the feeling that the other stuff that goes along with them is pretty good too.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah,
I mean, we all have our likes and dislikes between the movies, and everyone kind of pretends 2 didn't happen, which I don't know why, because it's pretty cool. Limp Bizkit does the theme song, guys. I don't know how you get cooler than that, but people don't love it. But in general, they're great. They're really solid movies.
Yeah. And I think you really want to watch one of those movies like right after watching this to sort of see what you could do to make this movie feel like there's a soul or something in there.
Yeah. Which is an interesting thing to say, having a soul, because there's a really nice conundrum that we kind of set up and don't deal with. And set up is the wrong word because they don't talk about it. But I mean, what is a clone? What makes
sure.
him human? Like, this kid is created in a lab.
Yep.
He meets the guy's DNA, and there's very little dealing with that situation. He's like, well, I'm sad a little bit and confused. Anyhow, let's go kill my pops. This is a weird movie.
Yeah. And there's no sort of thoughts or dealing with that. Yeah, it's weird.
No, I mean, literally, Clive Owen talks about creating stormtroopers, essentially.
Yeah.
He's like, we need an army of clones that don't feel so that they are expendable. And I'm all on board with that idea. Obviously, that's the evil people that do it. I guess the good guys do it. Dan, teach me Star Wars. Do the good guys do it first?
The clone,
and the bad guys steal them?
The clone army? No, the bad guys made the clone army. They paid for on the storm planet. The bad guys paid for an army, and then they became the stormtroopers. Although in the other movies, the stormtroopers are guys they pay.
They're regular people. Very confusing.
I've never understood what that was all about. You'd think if you were going to have a clone army, that would then be the clone army, and you would,
that's your army, right? That's your army. I don't know.
Why would Finn have to put on the uniform? Like if you're able to make and afford a clone army, and you control the whole empire, why are you sticking with that?
So maybe they felt bad or something, because but here's where I was going with it. Let's talk about Finn for a second. Finn switches sides, right? So Clive Owen is correct. We need clones to be the army, and who cares about them? They're not human, which is something that we would talk about in real life, but not in this movie.
But the other thing about this movie is he has to put in all this effort to make one guy. Yeah. It's not like how you really want to do the clone where you have three alien overseers are making a whole army that is then just pooped out into the world, right?
I agree, except for the big twist of the movie is that there's a third Will Smith.
So was he like...
And obviously, Clive isn't raising him because he's spending so much time with Middle Will Smith. Middle Will. We'll call him Middle Will.
Oh, mate.
That Baby Will, I don't know.
I mean, people have two families, for years. So maybe he's got two families.
You're right about
he's got one Will Smith over here in Atlanta, and then he's got, in Poughkeepsie. He's got to go to Poughkeepsie to do some business, flies up to Poughkeepsie. Right?
I gotta be honest. I always find that it would be really hard to keep two wives straight. But if you had two sons that look identical, they're just barely different, I would never remember which one's which.
It wouldn't matter because you're treating them the same.
Oh, that's true. See, Dan, you're thinking of everything.
You'd be choking them out. I'm choking you out. Did I choke you out? It doesn't matter.
Did I do this yesterday? I can't remember.
Smack. Oh, no bee pollen for you.
Not the bees.
Okay, we better start the movie.
All right, yeah, sorry.
Bullet train station, Belgium. There's what we think are gangsters on a train. Then there's a spotter dude on the train that's talking to Will Smith. Will Smith's name is Henry. He's on a mount. He's on a hill looking at the bullet train. He's supposed to kill who we think is a gangster. At one point, the train's coming, and it's a bullet train, and it stays fast. It stays in shooting range scope? About 7 minutes.
At least.
It's
it was a while.
Way too this small child has time to walk up there and somehow
stand for a little bit,
but not be next to the guy, be next to another guy who could have gotten killed if he shot. So it's really confusing that they care. Yeah. Will Smith's I care. I don't want to shoot a kid. And you're
but are you gonna miss?
Well,
that's kind of your job.
I mean, if you're going to wait till the kid leaves, you're going to miss. Because there's going to be a post. He finally the kid walks back and he's it's clear. He takes a shot, but he kind of, it's right when a post is there. So you're wait, did he miss because of the post? And they get to the other side and he did hit him.
He didn't miss.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And then his spotter meets him later and it's all I made a videotape of the person you just killed. Here, look at the videotape. He's erase that immediately.
Can you think of a worse idea than filming the murder that you just helped do?
It's crazy.
Like, what a weird thing to even put in a movie. Like this guy, these guys are spies of some sort. I don't totally understand what they do. They have to know that if it's on your phone, it is now everywhere. Like you can delete that all you want. We can pull that shit back up, no problem.
Oh yeah.
It's just a really weird thing to put in a movie,
and then play for your guy later on, and then he has to go like
over and over. And but you should delete that, bro. Delete it.
No, bro, delete it. I mean, really, come on, delete it. You're just like,
okay, oh yeah, I'll delete it, guy. I'll delete it. That's how he was playing it. I don't. What a weird intro.
It was very weird. And so then he says, I meant to shoot him in the top of the head, but I shot him in the shot him in the neck instead. And it's like, well, I'm glad somebody took a video of that, so now we know exactly where you shot him.
Sure. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So they tried to make it organic that he needed to know exactly where he shot him. I see.
Yeah. That's why they put that scene in there, so that
that's interesting.
He'd have a reason to actually know where he shot him, as opposed to.
That's the classic. Oh, just give me a line, Dan Goodsell. But instead, they give you a whole scene. How does that feel?
A character moment.
Is that better? Character moment.
And we start to see him as this like, I'm conflicted about killing people. I don't like you because you kill people. Even if,
yeah, sure.
I mean, you have to, I don't know. I mean, shooting dictators, I guess, but, the CIA, FBI, when they're out there having people killed, which they do, usually they just have people dragged away and disappeared in a hole. It's not always the greatest thing.
No, usually.
It's not always the greatest person in the world that's doing that kind of thing. It's usually like yes, that's what I did today.
Sure. Yeah.
And he seems too hyped up emotional to ever have been like.
He seems pretty, for a guy that's pretending he's like all messed up, he seems pretty well adjusted and like just like a regular guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
He's not messed up at all.
No, I mean, he has nightmares, quote unquote, that's where the ghosts are.
Do we ever see him have a nightmare?
I think just one time, right? I think it's he remembers getting held underwater, I think by his dad, and then he wakes up. Yeah, that's it. That's not even what I would expect him to have, because he's saying that he's conflicted about murdering people, but his nightmares are about his childhood.
Yeah.
Those two things, those aren't the same.
Nope.
I don't know.
He goes to his cabin in the lake where he burns the photo of the guy he just killed. That's weird.
Well, you don't want to have any evidence, all right?
Then he hangs a birdhouse up. He's like, this birdhouse that I've had not hung up for like the last 7 months. Gotta get it up. One nail.
Finally have some time on my weekend. I'm going to put up this birdhouse. He does chores like I do chores, Dad. I do just a little bit each week, If I have to sweep the floor, I'll do the kitchen one Saturday. The next Saturday, I'll do the living room. Yeah, I stretch it out as much as possible.
A lot of birdhouses on the,
I got 18 birdhouses downstairs. I don't know when I'm going to get hung up. Oh, boy.
So then his handler shows up, a bald guy who Dale, that's his name.
Dale.
He shows up. We see that, Henry drives a pickup truck. We see his pickup truck parked there, big pickup truck. Truck. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I rewatched The Accountant.
Oh, boy, I'm jealous.
Whole movie from start to end. You watch a movie like that, and then you watch a movie like this, and then you're like, make a movie like The Accountant. Don't make a movie like this.
Don't do this. Don't do it.
Everything that happens in The Accountant, you're like, what's happening? Why is this happening? Like when he goes and attacks the house at the end, you're just like, everything about that attack is great. He's never like, at one point, Will Smith they're killing all these guys, and they're just like, okay, now we're just going to walk through the middle of the street with miniguns, and we're going to magically kill all of them with our miniguns before they kill us with their miniguns, even though they're all in tactical armor.
Yeah, but they said where the weaknesses were, Dan. as opposed to the human body that doesn't have any weaknesses. So that's why they don't get shot.
Did they put the Dan Goodson line in there where they said
Will says
shoot them in the
like,
holes where you can just kill them automatically?
Basically. Yeah, that's basically what he said. He's like, weak points are here and here. And then one shot each time. It's like, pow, 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 pow. They're all dead. It's great stuff. Great shooting.
But in the account, man, like every shot means something. If that's what your movie should be, if you're really about a guy that's a sniper, every shot should mean something in the stupid movie.
Now, you've brought up something that's been bothering me since I watched this the other day.
Is it my nice hairdo?
That doesn't bother me. I love it, Dan. Okay. It's coiffed. It's beautiful. You look good. Now, he is a sniper. That's his specialty.
He never does that again in the movie.
He does it one time, and then the rest of the time he's just like a supreme badass all-around fighter guy. I'm confused on that because he is a sniper. That's his job. Yep. That's what he should be good at. He should be good at everything. Yep. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
That's all. It just bothered me. I didn't understand it. Why make him? I don't know.
And that's the thing. When you have somebody like the accountant, right? He's what is he? Supremely fucked up.
Yeah.
He's supremely fucked up.
He sure is.
He's been through unimaginable shit, and that has made him a total mental case.
Yep.
And then he's incredibly good at all these other things. And you're like, I buy it. That's the thing. I guess that's the thing you said is like, he's pretty well adjusted, normal guy. You're like, you can imagine him just going, opening a flower. He's not, what's that movie? Nobody, right? Watch that movie.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy's just got problems. He's just this close to just blowing up at any second.
Right on that edge. Oh, yeah.
And
but Will's like, his retirement's going to be fine.
He says nothing. He's just going to go to that island, sit on that island, and enjoy himself. No.
Just chill. He's like, okay, great work, everybody.
You can't have that because it's not a character.
My retirement's not even going to be that peaceful, Dan.
You, Tony.
I'm doing okay.
And so, like, because of that, we're like the accountant, nobody, both those characters completely invested in. I feel every blow they take. I want them to win. I want them to win. This guy, don't really care.
Yeah, no, I don't really care at all. In fact, I kind of wanted him to lose. He is. I mean, he's old. Like, let the kid take over. That's how I felt about it. But then they found a great way to make it work where he's now the dad of himself. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there, I guess.
So he tells his handler, I'm retiring. We made the world safer. I'm losing a step. He could have shot that kid. I got lucky. 72 kills. That's his number. 72.
I didn't do any research. That feels like a lot of confirmed kills. Is that a lot?
Well, let's think about it, right? How old is he? 50? 48? 45?
He said 51. They made a joke about it.
They made that joke a few times. So let's put him in the army from 18 to 26, right? Gets out of the army 26, 25 years. That's three kills a year. That's a lot of kills.
It feels like a lot of kills.
It seems like if you're killing major targets, that's a lot. Okay, we go.
Are there that many major targets? I feel like you pretty much saved the world at that point. 70 high-profile targets. Great work.
There would
world peace.
Be a lot less drug dealers and terrorists and whatnot floating around. He goes to hang out at his boat. He meets Danny, who is played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's the harbor master. And so, of course, we're all like, oh, she's an actress. So that means she's someone.
Yeah. It is unfortunate that you can't just like hire a nobody for roles that you try to pretend don't matter. Because as soon as a named actor shows up, you're like, okay, well, they're going to be important. We got to figure out a way around that. We got to figure it out.
Maybe we can like CGI them to look like a different character, and they pull off the rubber mask.
You can. Of course, first pulling off the mask. Now you talk about Mission Impossible. Look at you
pulling off the mask.
You're doing it.
So he stops it. Oh, so he takes his boat out. He stops at this big boat. His old war buddy is there. What?
Sorry,
Something happened? It's like Tony's like this.
Sorry.
For those that listen on the
mouth
radio,
On the radio, Grandpa Dan. I was just looking up the world's deadliest sniper, whose name I can't pronounce, but Simo Haiha.
Is it the Russian guy or Ukrainian guy?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is he has 505 confirmed kills.
Oh, no.
So I take back everything I said about 70.
But that was World War II.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you're right about that.
I've read about him. He would just be like, he just picks his position, and then he just like, guy
goes to town.
Guy driving a motorcycle, dead.
Oh my God.
Guy driving a car, dead. 100 soldiers marching, dead. And he was like, then he'd like disappear, and they like hired squads to try and get him. I think there's a movie about him.
Is there? Yeah. I kind of want to watch that movie. Okay.
If you haven't ever seen Enemy at the Gates, watch Enemy at the Gates.
Enemy at the Gates. I don't know if I've seen that.
What's his name in it? It's
2001.
What's his name?
Jude Law. Ed Harris.
That's good.
Okay, I gotta figure this out.
I'm gonna
watch that this week.
That's a fun movie.
All
Very
right.
fun.
Copy that. Anyhow, sorry, didn't mean to derail it, but 505 kills feels like a lot.
Yeah, but that's a World War II thing where you're killing every day.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah, he's not just like getting hired randomly.
It's like nobody's doing that in their sniper career where they got to do all this setup and do all this prep work. Okay, so he meets his buddy, and his buddy has a warning for him. He's all like, that dude you killed was not a bad guy. He was a molecular biologist. And I got this information from my bro Yuri, who's in Budapest. Be careful. And then we see that there's surveillance on him, and the bad guys are listening, and he looks up and he sees like the flash from the satellite. And you're kind of like,
which was pretty blatant. Like, it was as if a giant camera went off. Nice little flash there. That's fine. I don't understand how sun works. It's all right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So
now I have a question real quickly. Because I don't know how things work. I don't know if you know how things work. But let's say that he killed a good guy.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
What do you mean, does it matter?
Like, he's telling Will, like, hey, he wasn't a bad guy, he was a good guy. But, I mean, a job's a job. Like, why does it matter who he is?
Oh, well, this is setting up the sort of limited moral structure of the movie, right? That there's good people to kill and there's bad people to kill. And that,
but that's just not right.
You killed this good person. And then in another movie where things are truly morally conflicted, your guy would make the argument. It's like, yeah, but he was doing such and such now. He wasn't a good person.
Right.
You could easily make the argument for even a good person needs to be quieted sometimes because of what might happen. Yeah, but this movie's like black and white. You have good kills, and now you just made a bad kill.
They're just really trying to make this sniper a good guy because he only kills bad guys.
Yes.
That's just not the way the world works, everybody.
Nope.
I don't know.
I kill whoever I have to. Okay.
Okay, Dan.
So, boom, boom, boom. He sees, so Clive Owen, our bad guy, Varys, they were listening in to his whole conversation, so they know everything. And then there's this other woman who's like sort of the real boss, but Varys is sort of like her henchman, but not really her henchman.
Yeah, I didn't totally understand this part.
It's like, we're working together, even though I kind of do and kill who you want me to say. And then he runs a project called Gemini. Ooh. Which, the interesting thing about Project Gemini, right? So we're thinking, okay, this is Project Gemini. That means there's all sorts of clones, right? That's what it has to be.
That's what I was under the assumption. Yeah.
What we're going to find out is they cloned one person, and everybody else is just a random paramilitary thing.
And so, what is Project Gemini exactly?
Well,
because I honestly don't know, Dan. It seems like it's just an elite team of soldiers.
Well, it's a whole school. right?
It is a whole
They go
school.
to the school at one point, which you were
right.
not expecting, and everybody's just like training out in the open, and there's like,
because what are they teaching?
Aren't there signs that say Gemini? I thought there was a big sign that said,
it's like it's a camp. It's like a summer camp. I don't understand, because then in his speech, his whole thing is like, we don't want to send regular people. We want to send clones that don't have feelings. But my Project Gemini is not that. So I don't understand. I'm very confused. And the movie's called Gemini Man. Yep. But Project Gemini isn't. I don't get it.
Well,
I straight up don't understand it, Dan.
It's one clone and then another clone we find out about later, but it's also a bunch of random guys that drive around
just regular men and women that are being trained to be good at. I mean, it's just regular. I don't know. What's the difference between this training and the regular training they get?
And who's paying for all of this? And how are they paying for it?
Who's paying for all this? Did nobody? Who knew that there was a clone? I don't understand anything that happened. Anyhow, continue. And
the other big thing is, the conceit of the movie is they just decided they're gonna want to kill. So that he and the other FBI or CIA they don't even give her a title. They don't even say
I don't know.
CIA,
I don't know where
FBI, NSA. They don't even title her, which is insane. Nope. Every movie like this, you title your person so you can understand what it is they're doing.
Who's where, who's doing what, who do you work for?
No, we don't even know where she works. I mean,
not at all.
He can find out and call her anywhere in the world and then say people are there to kill her, even though that scene really dopey. But
really dopey.
So they're all like, brop, 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 he's got to die. Or Varys is like, he's got to die. And she's all like, I don't know.
And I don't know either. Why does he need to die? He killed the guy.
And so he's going to start pulling at strings, and then their whole plan will get...
It doesn't seem like he is. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well,
but, I guess he did say, I need to talk to the contact.
He was going to go to Budapest and talk to the Yuri guy. Here's the other question. Why is he taking that shot in Budapest and Gemini Man isn't? Junior isn't?
I don't know. Maybe here it is. Maybe this was always the plan to kill him.
But why don't you just
Maybe
go?
They were always going to kill him.
Why don't you just go? Why don't you just go?
You can't kill him. You can't kill Will. Come on, man. He's too good,
right? So
I don't know. I don't understand.
If there's not even a reason why Will, because your Gemini Man, he's just as good, right?
It's supposedly better. I thought. I don't know.
I mean,
he's younger.
He's younger, so he's going to be better.
And then your third, who's not the Gemini Man, I'm not sure who Gemini Man is, to be honest with you.
You mean Junior?
Junior. Yeah, double Junes. He's the best because he's like jumping off walls and stuff. Right?
Hold on. Let's ask this third question. I think at a certain point they said they tried to kill that dude like 4 or 5 or 6 times, right? The dude that they killed at the beginning. Why aren't you sending Will? Why isn't Will your number 1? Isn't he number 1? He's the guy you're cloning. He's the guy you're cloning.
He's the best.
He's the best.
They say he's the best of bunch. Yeah.
So there's only 3 people you would be sending to do that hit. There's no 6 other guys. There's Henry, there's Gemini Man or Junior, and then Junior. Those are the only 3 guys you're ever sending to kill that guy.
Right. Well, except for Team Gemini, right? Which is just a bunch of random people.
The whole team.
Sending 50 people to do that job. I don't know. I'm telling you, man, this movie doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So he's back somewhere. He finds a tracker. How did he find a tracker?
On the boat or something.
Oh, he finds a thing in his boat. His boat's being tracked. So he confronts Danny.
Which is weird, Dan, because we find out later he has a tracker in his arm.
Yeah.
So why do they need to put a tracker on the boat?
Oh, because that tracker in his arm he's being tracked by Varys. The boat tracker is normal CIA tracker. NSA tracker. That's an NSA tracker versus a Gemini tracker. Now he spends like 15 minutes interrogating Danny and like, you don't know.
/harass him. like he's pretty rude to her.
And he does all this, and then at the end of it, he's all like, I was just being paranoid. You're not really who it is. Let's go out on a date.
And then what does she say?
Absolutely.
She says yes. What are you talking about? That is ridiculous. I mean, I understand that she is an agent, which at that point you have to be like, okay, she's obviously an agent because a normal person would never say yes to this because he just like threatened her and yelled at her and she should not be on that date. That's super weird.
Now, you want to keep track of Will Smith. How do you do that, Tony? Do you hire someone to sit in a little boathouse who will interact with him for 30 seconds?
Maybe twice a day.
Oh, no. Maybe twice a week. Maybe one day a week. See him for, maybe a total of about a minute. And that's your person who is keeping track of the greatest assassin in the United States.
Well, we sent a relatively sort of good-looking young lady, so we knew he was going to creep on her.
No, he doesn't have relationships. No. We established that later. Everyone knows he doesn't.
We do establish that later. That's true. He's incapable of it. Was that a real question?
I mean, when they're keeping track of Captain America, they put the world's hottest blonde in the apartment next to him.
And it works for a while.
Ooh, that would work. That's
a good movie. I should rewatch that.
Who was it that played her?
Oh, I wish I could remember her name. She does that show. She did that show for a while.
Does she do that show? Really she does that show?
Yeah. What was it? Restless. Which Captain
Restless?
America.
She does Captain Restless?
Civil War. I can't remember her name. I feel bad. She was in a big show for a long time, Dan. You don't remember this?
I think that was in Winter Soldier.
Not Civil War. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You're an idiot.
Oh, God, I'm so bad at this. Oh, my God.
Because we really need to know that actress's name.
Emily something, right?
Post?
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's Emily something. It is Emily Van Camp. Yep. Oh. Revenge. I was way off on the name of the show. The show's name is Revenge. But that was a fun show for a while. Yeah, she's great.
Okay. So he shows up for the date with flowers, and then he just totally blows her cover. It's like, I know where you went to school. I know this. And then she's like, my dad was in the FBI. And then we talk about where we were military people together.
Yeah. I mean, it's dumb.
Talk about their chemistry, Tony.
Okay, well, when I find it, I'll let you know. Here's what's weird, right? Is Will is a charming guy. I mean, he used to be. I assume he still is.
No, he used to be.
You think it's gone? You think he? Not to get too personal. You think he's kind of?
I think
something snapped and he lost that charm.
I think so. I think that easy charm.
I mean, I believe it.
I think that easy charm got beaten out of him by relationships.
Sure.
Or a relationship.
World. Yeah, well, let's not speculate, but I agree. But here's, I saw the trailer for Bad Boys, the new Bad Boys, and it looks pretty good. I'm excited. I'm gonna see it pretty soon when it comes out on VOD because I'm not going to the movie theaters anymore. But I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's not in this movie.
He's pretty charmless in this movie.
And that's pretty bad for Mr. Will Smith.
He was okay as Deadshot. He seemed like there was something going on.
I enjoyed that. He had some good jokes and and then some emotional beats. Yeah, no, I liked him. I enjoyed that. When was that? Was that 2015? Is that when?
Back when the good movies were all made. We do a scene with his buddy's boat. Buddy gets killed. And his girlfriend gets killed.
Yeah, I mean, that's really sad, though.
So,
because the poor mistress gets murdered for no reason,
You shouldn't sleep with married guys, especially married spooks.
Well, she probably didn't know that he was a spook. She probably knew he was married, but not the spook.
She was probably a Russian asset.
Oh, so we're doing, actually, it's good. We're cleaning up the streets. All right, got it.
So he gets a magic alert because his friend got killed.
And does it say alert?
Something, I don't know. So he takes off. He gets his go bag. He calls his buddy Reno, his spotter from the train, and we listen as the spotter gets killed. He goes to
Now, real quickly, the spotter is also some sort of agent, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when another agent calls you and is like, "Hey, one dude's dead, and we're probably next," do you just go, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm dead." It was a weird conversation. He should be like, "Oh shit! All right, here we go. Let's go."
You would think that's what I would, like if you called me and you said, "Dan, we're doing a show," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, let me turn on my computer and do the things necessary to do a show." I wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
"No, we're not doing a show. Why would we do a show? That'd be crazy if we did a show."
It was weird. And then he died, and I was like, yeah, you probably deserved it. Not like deserved it because you're a guy, but deserved it because you were told and you did nothing. So
You were not good at
sorry, guy.
You were not good at your job. First you filmed the kill, now you're dead.
That's right. This is the guy that's filming murders. Yeah, we probably saved ourselves a lawsuit or two by killing that guy.
So he goes and he gets Danny awake. Then they go to the office, and then somehow she goes there by herself 5 minutes before him so that she can get jumped.
It was weird, but maybe he was just like outside checking the perimeter. He's taking a smoke break.
So they fight, and then the guy's like, "You better tell me what I want to know, or you're gonna tell me without any teeth." And then she gets a jump on him, and then she gets the information, and then
knocks out his teeth.
She knocks out his teeth to get the information. So,
and all of them. It was a bunch of teeth.
Oh yeah, she had a handful of teeth, didn't she?
She had a handful of teeth and just gave them to Will. It was pretty weird.
If you're gonna make her that, we got to see that again, right?
She needs to be a supreme badass for the rest of the movie because that is a baller move.
She needs to like walk up to people, like just stab them in the kneecap,
just hatchet, just machete them, But she didn't really do much the rest of the movie. No. This is kind of her one moment to shine.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, that's a character trait that I'm not surprised never comes back. Boom, they call their buddy. He brings them a seaplane. And
I love this guy, Dan. I love him.
Wong?
He's so fun.
What's his name? Something?
Well, I mean, that's his name in.
No, that's his real name.
The Marvel.
His name is Wong.
Is it?
Yeah.
Isn't that his name in the Marvel universe?
That too.
Wow. That's great. Good for him. He doesn't have to learn a new name, though.
Benedict Wong.
Yeah, that's the guy. Love that guy.
He's great. He's in a different movie.
He's really fun.
Different movie.
He is in it. He's in a movie that I want to see, though.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
He's in the fun version of this movie.
Yeah, he comes in. He's got high energy, making some jokes. It's like, yes, this is where I want to live. Let's follow this guy for the rest of the movie.
He had the one situation in the movie I liked, which I will point out when we get to it.
Okay, you point it out later. Yeah, let's save it. We don't want to spoil it too early in the podcast.
So he's got a seaplane. They take off. He calls. Will calls his old handler, and he's like, "It's not me, but they're going to kill you." And then they figure out that it's Clay Verris. And then they go to Colombia. And then we learn that Clay Verris was like somebody that Wong and him served with. And he was an asshole, and he was like controlling, and
I guess
was like kind of like their dad, but not their dad. He was
because they're all the same age.
He was dadding at them before he was the dad of Junior.
Yeah. Now, all right.
Okay.
And this is maybe they say this in the movie, but help me reverse engineer all of this engineering.
Sure.
Will Smith, 51. They hit that pretty hard in the movie.
Yeah.
Junior looks 23. Is that what they said?
That sounds about right. Yeah. 23,
young 20s.
Maybe 25. 22, 25. Yeah.
Clones start as babies, right?
Yep. Started babies.
So they did this 20 years ago. 23
years ago, at least. 20 to 23
And when do we
ago.
think he got into the army? Because that makes him 27, 28 when they clone him. Was he really already the best sniper in the world that early in his career?
Yeah.
That's 20 years.
He probably was the best sniper in the world at that point.
So you're saying this guy's been on top of the game for 20 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time. I don't know. Feels a little far-fetched.
And more importantly, the dude we killed at the beginning, isn't he the clone guy? Or is he the guy that made the cloning even better or something?
Something like that. I think it's that second one where he like fixed something in the algorithm. I don't know if it's an algorithm.
But if we have perfect clones 23 years, we have...
Right, but that's why it's weird, right? Because he's working now, ostensibly, but we already have 2 good clones 23 years ago, and then probably 18, I would say that kid looked,
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. That timeline doesn't make any sense.
Why are we killing him now?
Why are we killing this gene
later.
guy now? So weird.
They want a lot, right? They want it to all tie together. See, because that's the thing when you write a movie, you want it all to tie together, but sometimes when you tie it all together, it stops making any sense.
It just doesn't make no sense at all.
I mean, when you're
but hey, good for them for trying.
Yeah, but when you're watching the movie, you don't think about those things. I don't think about those things so much.
Either did I. I've just been thinking about it for the last 3 days. That's why. So.
Okay, so then he remembers, Varys being an asshole. He wakes up in the hotel, and he wakes up because he knows there's a sniper on the roof. I don't know how he knows there's a sniper on the roof. I don't know why the sniper was.
I always know when snipers are on roofs near me.
If I was a sniper, I'd have been on the roof across the street, and then I'd have shot him through the window when he got up.
Sniping him, yeah, you'd be sniping.
But instead,
you'd be, doing your job.
Instead, he figures it all out, and then so he goes in one direction. So Danny and what's Benedict Wong's name in this movie? I wrote it down somewhere.
Oh,
he had a good name too.
Now, so he's gonna follow me. What's his name?
Baron. It's a bad name.
Baron.
It's not a good name. That's not a name
That's not a good name. Isn't that a title?
It is that too.
Baron von Schnapp. So. All right. So he's like this.
Baron von McSneezy Pants. Oh, chew.
Hey, there you go. Oh, chew. Excuse me.
Okay.
So he's like, the sniper's gonna follow me, so you two can escape. Yep. But he uses the word sniper specifically.
As soon
as he gets outside of the building, wouldn't he be shot?
No, because
Isn't that what snipers do?
No, snipers stand on top of the building and shoot down into a building. That's their secret plan.
Into the
then
building.
When there's that hole, they look through the hole.
Like, I don't see him. I must have lost him. I don't know. It doesn't make no sense.
So then we begin a giant chase. He gets on a motorcycle. What's his name gets on a motorcycle. They ride up a thing. They shoot at each other. They shoot the mirror. Then they crash, and then he uses the motorcycle as a weapon. He kicks him with the motorcycle. He rams him with the motorcycle. He jumps in with the motorcycle. He jumps the motorcycle up on top of a car and does a little motorcycle dance.
Bitch slaps him with the motorcycle. Okay. It was a great moment, and it made me laugh out loud on an airplane.
Yeah.
This scene has some high highs and some low lows. It's all over the board.
Oh.
But the bitch slap was pretty great.
I thought it was fairly entertaining, and I also thought that, and this is a thing a lot of people, normal people reviewed. The CGI I thought was really good.
Oh yeah, no. They did a solid job, which is
amazing.
What the movie. Thank God, because if it wasn't, this movie would be horrible. It would be unwatchable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's what I will just talking about the CGI now. A lot of people were like, "Oh, the de-aging doesn't look as great." They didn't de-age anything. This is a totally different technique that they use. So usually de-aging is like airbrushing and making them look younger. What they did is they took young footage of young Will and like AI'd the shit out of that and then just put that mask on old Will's face. So it's different technique and it's really creepy.
Oh, really? You thought it was really creepy?
Sometimes. And I think part of it's because the movie's also shot in 120 frames per second. So everything is like hyper realistic. Movies are usually shot in 24 frames per second. So it's got that motion blur. And it's a little like, this is all very sharp edged.
Okay.
So every once in a while, the face, when it moves, was just like, what's going on? A little alien-y. But in general, I thought it all looked pretty nice.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I didn't think I was looking at a plastic person all the time.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is he doesn't seem younger and he doesn't seem different at all. It just feels like
acting wise.
Yeah, the two of them are just like it's just
even like when they walk, they still like.
Well,
I know this is a stupid thing to pick on, but
I like that they did all this stuff the same. That made sense to me, but
do you think you walk the same way you did 20 years ago?
Well, I don't.
Let me rephrase that, because you're 74 years old. 50 years ago, when you're 20.
Oh, that's so cold, Tony. I'm so cold over here. Oh, I'm so cold.
Don't go into the light, Dan. Don't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's fine.
I don't walk the same way each time I walk.
All right. You know what? Maybe you're not the person to ask about that. Your body is crumpling before my eyes. All right.
I like that, but you wanted there to be like a different pitch to his voice or something, just like something that was like
a different energy to it.
Yeah, that you want maybe what's Will to be broken down, but I mean that's the whole premise is that he's literally exactly the same, which I don't believe that you could. If you did clone someone, they would not be exactly the same.
So what? I mean, I agree with you 100%, and that comes down to the nature versus nurture, right? Mm-hmm. Argument of things, which we again don't talk about at all. But the whole point is, Clive Owen has raised this kid in like a loving, supportive relationship or something, but he hasn't.
But he hasn't. See, that's the one. There's one point at which Clive Owen is yelling at him, "I raised you in a loving family," and you're just like. No,
that's true. You're right.
You're thinking you did that, but you're exactly the same as his horrible
dad. My father
dad.
would say the exact same thing in that exact same tone as he's whooping me with a belt. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. I'm making that part up.
No,
but I mean, you're right. I guess you're right. Yeah, it's all weird.
This is a loving family. So yeah, that was like another thing that I liked in the movie, but I don't know how intentional it was. But it was kind of interesting. But yeah, he is just exactly the same. They're sort of exactly the same. Yeah, and so you don't get anything out of it. It's not. It never becomes spooky enough that they're exactly the same.
Yeah,
but. If they'd have been a little different, there might have been interesting contrasts with them.
Yeah,
another thing,
but there's not.
On the internet, everybody says Will Smith's like a terrible actor in this movie.
I don't know if he's terrible, but he's pretty flat. But we talk. But that's the charmlessness, I think, right? Like I think people that see this are expecting Will Smith.
Yeah,
and I don't think we get Will Smith.
We just get.
I don't think he's terrible. By any means.
He just plays like this sort of dour guy, and we don't want to really spend any time with him.
No, I want to spend time with Wong. That's Mr. Benedict Wong over there. That's who I want to hang out with all day.
You mean Baron?
I'm not going to say Baron. I don't like that name. I don't agree that it is a name, so I'm not going to call him that.
So they do a big fight. Camera work was good. Good chase. You're like, okay. And then what you don't realize is that was the end of that. Any other action in this movie, not as good.
Even like the climactic fight scene is pretty pale in comparison.
Climactic fight scene, the worst of the fight. The action goes downhill.
You think it goes downhill?
The whole movie. Yeah, pretty much downhill. So boom.
You peaked in high school, guys.
The cops show up. They arrest him. Then Benedict Wong and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, they go and they just, we're going to dress up in these outfits and just bail you out instantaneously.
And then we don't want to spend any time with that because it doesn't actually make much sense if you think about it.
We do it really quick. Because it was interesting when the cops are coming in and arresting him, I was like, whoa, that's a sticky pickle. And then it was not a sticky pickle. It was just like...
It's whatever the opposite of a sticky... It's a slippery nipple. because they don't deal with it all. And he's just like, oh, well, thanks for getting me out, guys. Why did he even get arrested? What's the point? They didn't know how to end the other scene, maybe?
Yeah,
like, they didn't know how to get them away from each other without one of them killing the other one? I don't know. Super weird.
And he goes south. Junior just like goes south when you hear the police sirens. He's just like
gone. Vapors.
Very weird. So then they're like, we're gonna go to Budapest. They're like, oh, we got to steal a good plane. And then boom, they're just in the plane. No stealing of the plane. No interesting stealing. They like, I think I know a guy. We don't know who the guy he does it. Does he steal it from Bill Gates? We don't know.
Yeah, no, you don't need to worry about
Didn't
it.
you have to put like Bill Gates' name on the thing or Elon Musk, or don't you need to make it somebody's plane?
You should. You should just, because who just has a guy like that? I understand that that's like a cliche. It's like, oh, I've got a guy, that does this. But there is no guy.
They stole it.
But doesn't he call somebody about it?
I think the idea is, I know a guy who we can steal one from, and so they steal it.
But we missed all the fun heist stuff.
Of course. That would be fun.
We just cut to Mr. Benedict Wong singing in the airplane, which I did love the singing. That's fun. I don't know, man.
And what?
I guess you're right, though. I know a guy that has a plane that we can take without asking, I guess.
Yeah, he says something like that. And so then what do we have the woman doing? Cleaning Will's wounds.
Man.
I hate that. It just really was sort of dopey. Them trying to, it was such a manufactured way of them connecting. It's just like,
bonding. Yeah. It's not great.
Let's see. Then we talk a little bit about how he looked like you. Boom, boom, boom. Then we go back to Clive Owen and Junior, and then there's like it's in his house, and we see behind him he has a giant shoe collection wall.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Whose shoes are they? Are they Juniors or are they Clive Owens, you
I think they're Clive Owens.
Clive, he's a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for those sneakerheads. They will clone you and beat you.
Or maybe it was Junior. Maybe it was Junior's room. Yeah, it probably was Junior's room. You're probably right.
I feel like it's probably not, only because is he allowed out of the house? Why does he need so many shoes? You can't wear those shoes on a mission.
I think
you got to wear like soulless black leather or something.
I assume, doesn't he say at some point that they don't get girls because they're afraid of them seeing the darkness or something?
Yeah, you're seeing the real you. Yeah. Still a virgin. What a nerd.
So then he's tending the clone's wounds, and then he scolds him, and then you got to embrace the fear and overcome it. And he's like, do you want a bowl of cereal? And he's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'd like a bowl of cereal, please, sir. Don't put me in the cage, sir. So weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And
why?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No.
You go, 'cause I was going to the next thing.
Well, he's also like, you got to go get this guy, but he has an elite team.
You can't send
Junior.
You can't send them around the world.
Team.
You can't send the team around the world. You got to send one guy.
Why? Then why do you have a team? What is the team for, Dan?
Fighting on U.S. soil.
You think they're local?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's bizarre. It's a bad plan.
So then we cut to this scene that we automatically knows on a backlot of the Gemini guys fighting terrorists, and we're like, oh, that's fake. Well, let's go there for a second. Let's unpack this scene.
Okay, great. Yeah, talk to me.
So what we have is a bunch of hostages fleeing this building. Yep. Then we have terrorists come out. Then we have guys with machine guns and mines that blow up cars. Yep. Like literally we see blowing up.
Oh yeah. But you got to train like it's the game, baby.
And instantly you knew it was a fake backlot, and we knew it was a fake backlot, right?
Well, of course. Okay. Yeah.
And then we find out it's a fake, then they do, scene, and then they're like, everybody go to lunch.
Scene.
And then
and cut. Great.
Will Smith's character is there, Junior sitting there eating an ice cream cone. Yeah. Hanging out. Clive shows up, and he's like, you got to go to Budapest. And he's like, okay, now we're going to unpack this scene.
Okay.
Because nobody's unpacked this scene before. And this is the most telling thing. Huh? If Tony,
Yeah.
you say you're an actor, but
Okay, that's a hurtful accusation. The way you just said that was hurtful. You say you're an actor. You don't work at all, but you say it. Oh my. All right, finish your question, you monster.
but you joined the workforce, rightly so. But if you were still
Yeah, I sure
trying
did.
to be an actor and you saw the ad in Variety, $150,
$150. What year is this, Dan?
$45.
Here's a banana. Come out and act. I'll do it.
All those actors that are showing up there and then they leave, and they're posting all that on fucking Facebook and Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's that. You're social media and the shit out of that. That's the coolest job you've ever had. Absolutely.
You're in this fake
You kidding me?
paramilitary town that has a big sign. Big sign that says Gemini.
Gemini. Oh yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Well, they kill you. So here's what you don't see on that, Dan, is that they send you out into what is the lot. They're like, go get changed after you're done and shower up, and then you go in there and then you're murdered.
You can't do the shower up and get murdered. You can't do that, Tony.
Okay, sorry.
That's you can't go there, Tony.
That's somebody else. That's somebody else that does that. Okay.
Yeah, like you're implicating all of these people in your highly illegal secret making.
Seems pretty weird.
Making an army, paramilitary army.
Listen, Dan, they had to sign an NDA, okay? And you can't break NDAs. You cannot do it.
As we found out with 34 felonies. Okay. And then so when they get to Budapest, Danny gets his DNA tested, and he goes back, and then she's all like, "You're his clone."
Now, again, I feel like we've done this argument before
that's how
about
this argument
clones.
works. Yeah.
Because she handles it like a pro. She's like, they're identical. He's your clone. If this is me, and I have just found out that there's a fucking clone in the world, I'm a bit more excited than that. They're just so nonchalant. She's like, get your clone. It's 100% match. It's got to be a clone. I don't know, man. Is it really not that big of a deal that we're cloning humans?
I mean, it would be fucking weird to see yourself. That would just.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah. For on many levels. One of which is like, why would you choose me? You know?
We talk about we get into that. And we're going to talk about that.
Great.
Yeah, it's super weird, and he doesn't react to it at all. And it isn't. They like we're not going to make that a thing.
They don't make anything a thing.
That's the point of the movie. Yeah, it's weird. So then he's all like, why clone me? Why don't you clone doctors or scientists? Well, you don't clone doctors or scientists because that's a profession you have to. And then
you have to teach them all those things.
And then they say they can't shoot. Then the character says they can't shoot people. And then you're like, well, neither could he, except you had to invest an incredible amount of time and money to make him into a person that could shoot somebody.
In the training. Yeah, that's not just like he didn't just one day like wake up, grab a gun, and just shoot 400 yards with a pistol. You know what I mean? Like that, you learn. It's a learned skill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I mean, that's we look at Tony, right? If Tony been brought up,
let's take a look at that guy.
He brought up in a different environment. He might have gained some useful skills other than
I don't know
acting.
About that, Dan. I don't know. We're asking a lot of young Tony at this point. I don't know.
Tony's going to be Clone Tony. Clone Tony's going to have actually, worked on his life. And Clone Tony
has to apply himself and do things. I feel terrible for this guy. I'm going to rescue him. We're going to go on buddy adventures. Tony and me.
Okay. So they go and meet Yuri. They all have to put on bathrobes. And then
Did they have
it
to?
was so weird. It was so weird that everyone was wearing bathrobes.
What's
so
weirder is in the background, I'm pretty sure some guys are just freeballing it.
Oh, really?
I'm almost positive one of the old dudes that walked by in the background just had his junk out.
I'm sure he did.
I'm almost positive. I didn't want to rewind it on the airplane and like focus on it just in case people were watching. But I'm pretty sure. Do you guys see a penis there? Do you guys see that?
So Yuri says, I admire your work. And he's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And so somehow Yuri knows like everyone that this guy's killed.
And yet they make a big deal out of it and then don't tell us why he knows.
And don't they make it seem like at some point we're going to find out that they're like videotaping him doing all these things?
Yes, something. Like there's some sort of chronicling that's happening because Will is making a deal. He's like, what? How do you know all that? What? And we don't answer. We don't deal with it. It was just like, yeah, don't worry about it. And he's like, oh, okay, I won't.
You thought that was going to be a third act thing, right? I thought it was.
I thought it was going to be something. It doesn't have to be a third act. It could have happened in that scene for all I care, but I would have liked to know because you posed the question. It's your own question, and then you don't answer it. And that frustrates me.
So he just basically says, the guy that you killed made a breakthrough. And then there's something about you got to find the lab and you were the missile or something.
Yeah, okay. So Will says, why don't you just...
falling asleep during this scene.
Falling asleep. This is one of my favorite lines of the movie, Dan. Because Will, what's his name? Henry? Henry.
You think of that character, you think, Henry. No.
Hank. So he asks, why don't you just send a missile? And then the Yuri says, we are sending a missile. You're the missile.
Who's sending what missile to where?
Yuri is sending the missile to them because he just told him the information, and he's the missile.
So he's going to go kill Clive Owen. Yuri wants him to go kill Clive Owen.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I think he just thought it sounded cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense. But you're the missile. I've always wanted to be a missile.
I was going to make a very mean joke.
I would like to hear it. You know what? Everybody out there wants to hear it, Dan. Do it.
There were 2 atomic bombs.
You finish it. Don't chicken out now. You finish this.
One of them was called Fat Boy. And the other one was called like Little John or something. But yeah.
Little John.
Little something. But the one was Fat Boy. And it's like this big round bomb. Terrifying. Sorry, Tony. That was me.
Terrible stuff. Don't you apologize to me. You own that shit. Jesus.
No, Jerry Seinfeld explained to me that...
Yeah? Is this from Unfrosted? Did he explain something?
I gotta be more woke.
Oh, so in his real life, his real comments, because you can't make good comedy anymore.
I saw my buddy Randy yesterday, and he was like, "You guys were so right about Unfrosted." So,
yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's unfortunate.
Okay,
it's great.
So he calls the CIA lady, and it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna meet up with the thing." No. He says, "You got to take Danny in." And she's all like, okay, yes. Send Danny here. So they send Dan. So Danny goes to this castle. As they're going on her, he hits on her, I think. Is weird. And then she goes in the courtyard. There he is. He's got a gun.
Hold on. Let's talk about it. I love this little stuff. So he is like, she asks why he thinks that this is going to work. And he's like, I know his taste.
That's
because it's also my taste.
So
he's only 51.
So she goes in there, and then he's all like, Junior's like, strip. So she takes off her clothes, and I'm like, okay, now you got my interest.
All right, Junior. Way to go, guy.
So he like checks her hair, and then he like checks her butthole.
He checks stuff, man. Like he's down there for a minute. He's checking. He's thorough. He's thorough.
Spent some time in her underwear. It's weird. It's just weird.
It's weird because it's one of those things that's like, and maybe this will get me in trouble, but like it could be a sexy moment if there's a connection between the two, right? That could be fun. Or it could be like an awkward moment where it's like she likes the older guy, and then he's just doing his job, but they just do nothing. It's just a weird. It's just weird because no one makes a choice on anything, and it's just
it is completely non-sexual. It is the most non-sexual.
It's not everything. Why is it even in the movie? Why we don't need this whole scene. It's 2 minutes of him feeling her up off like below the camera. There's nothing. There's no sort of connection. There's nothing. I don't know why it's in the movie.
They did it for me.
This is for you, Dan Goodsell. Cheers.
Okay, so then she has 12 minutes to go to the catacombs, and then he drives a cab, and she's like, "That's a good idea." And she's like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Atlanta." And then you're like, he's got a big heart, and you've got a big heart, and you're both clones. So then he goes to the Budapest catacombs, and then she's all like, "Oh, you're putting on night vision glasses. Oh, you got a gas mask. Oh, you put a tripwire. Oh, you're tying me up right here where somebody could find you."
You're doing this almost verbatim, by the way, so that's pretty great.
And then Will Smith just goes in there and flash grenades him because he's wearing night vision, and then just disables him. And then it's just like, okay, I've got you all disabled, but I'm not tying you up. I'm not knocking you out. It's just like...
Just going to let you hang out for a minute.
And so he hangs...
There's no way that'll backfire.
I'm going to hold my gun right up close to you, so when you want to knock it away...
Which you're not supposed to do. You are not supposed to get that close because they could...
So, of course, then at a certain point, after they, talk about, "I know who you are, I know who you are, you sneeze 4 times whenever it's the solstice. You like your burgers take both buns and flip them over, and then you take the cheese and you eat the cheese off of it first." It's like,
not all those things would be the same.
They couldn't all be the same.
I just don't believe that's how genetics works.
Yeah. It's like...
But I don't know.
You can imagine, one of them might like spicy foods. No... If there was another Dan Goodsell, he would not approach food as insanely as I approach food. He might...
That's true. Nobody would.
Nobody would. He might approach it insanely, but it wouldn't be the same way as me.
It wouldn't be the same. No. And even like you said, spicy food, right? I love spicy food. Yeah. I can't handle spicy food. I still do it, and then I'm sick afterwards. I don't imagine someone else would do the same thing because they're not going to be that stupid.
Another Tony might be like Mr. Vanilla. He's just like, "I like the vanilla. That's all I need to do.
And that's great. I'm happy." Now, will he still be fat? Of course, because that you can't change.
You can't change that shit. So then, of course, he gets away. They fight. There's this one part where they're fighting, and there's slow motion grunts. Oh. Then they fall into a... Okay, Tony, what is the thing that they fall into?
Is it a pond? Is it a... I don't know. What is it?
Cistern, I think.
In that... Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
It's like a place where you store water, in a house.
You mean like a well?
Kind of. I burped.
Thank you for letting us know. We were all curious, Dan.
So then she jumps in with a gun because he's drowning him. And she's like, "Let him go." He's like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" Why didn't she just kill him? I know.
Well, because they like him.
Why do they like him?
I don't know the answer, Dan.
They're so worried about this junior kid.
Because they're the good guys. All right? The good guys don't kill people other than the 72 people he's killed.
They do kill people. They don't care. So she wings him in the wing.
Yeah, good job.
And then he just swims away.
Yeah.
Now, Tony, if someone shot at you and you were there to kill Will Smith, wouldn't you just swim over there and then wait till she swam over there and was having to drag him out and then go over there and kill her?
Pop, kill them both.
So stupid.
I mean, I probably just would have killed Will earlier, to be honest with you.
Of course you would.
He had a bunch of chances and he didn't do it, so I don't know.
Okay, so then they take a plane home and they talk about the poor kid. Whatever. At home, talks to him about his 12th birthday, and then he's getting testy. So he's like, "I'm an orphan. I always wondered, how did you know when my birthday was?" Which, of course, what you would do is you just say, "That was the day we found you."
Right? Yeah, like that's the first day that we were a family.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
would just say that.
Yeah. Or just I picked a date. Like what does it matter? I don't know.
Super weird. That's the big tell. The birthday.
Right? Yeah. As if that real like go get tested. Test for your birthday, kid. You don't know what your date of birth is, you idiot.
Test for your birthday? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't. That's what I'm saying. There's no test for it. You're not like a tree. I can't cut you open and count your rings. All right. I don't know how old you are.
Tell your birthday.
Not to the date, but it would give me like a general idea of how old I am.
Okay, Tony.
It'd give me close to the year. How about that?
Then the kid's all like, "Why did you send me?" And then he's like, "He's your darkness." And then the kid's like, "Maybe you're my darkness, Dad."
Which, duh. How would a guy you've never met be your darkness? He didn't know he existed 3 days ago. Get to the end of this conversation. It's my other favorite line of this movie.
And then, and then he's like, "I was a loving father. Don't doubt me." And then I wrote, "Cry, cry, baby. I love you, son." That's what I wrote.
Yeah. What's the second part of that line? You didn't write it down?
"Cry, cry, baby. I love you, son." I don't know that's all I wrote.
Cry, baby. So Clive, he starts crying. The kid starts crying. And then Clive's like, "I love you, son. Just don't let yourself down." That's his parting wisdom. Don't let yourself down. Not don't let me down. Because, I'm going to love you either way, except for I already don't love you because you're not doing your job right. But he's like, don't let yourself down. As if this kid cares. Such a stupid thing to say. I hate fathers.
Jesus, so angry.
Yeah.
Oh, so they land the plane, and as they're leaving, Wong goes up and kisses the plane, and then he's like, "We had way too little time together." I love
because he's funny.
That's the part I like.
Yeah, because he's a funny guy.
I like that this dude walked over and kissed the plane, and because as if they were having a relationship.
Because they were
almost like you could do that with every vehicle in the movie, and that would have been a character choice.
Great, yeah, he loves his machinery.
Yeah, no.
Wonderful. He has his own plane. Does he love that plane? Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, probably should. Probably should have all these things have names. Delilah, you're the most beautiful Airstream jet, Gulfstream jet. Okay, so boom, they get there. The kid's there waiting. He shoots him with bee venom.
Yeah,
and then
it's pretty fucked up.
He starts dying, and then he's all like, I don't even know what he said. He's like,
it doesn't matter what he said, Dan, because here's my question.
Yeah, what's your question?
You're deathly allergic to bees.
Yeah.
You don't have an EpiPen? You carry no such... Bees can strike at any time. And you have no defense. You're just... One bee gets you, you're dead?
I mean, it's like $60.
It's like
he had to spend his money on birdhouses, man. I'm not going to buy an EpiPen. That's effort.
You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot how poor he is. Being a hitman for the government. I'm sure he's doing okay. He's got a pension. Isn't that, yeah, they have those, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what Junior wants out of all this, but basically he unkills him.
He said something like, I had to be sure, which he just had to be sure that he's also allergic to bees?
Guess so. I guess that's what it was. He didn't say I had to be sure.
That's the one thing that proves it. It's like, oh, you're right. We are clones because no one else would be allergic to bees like you and me. I don't know, man. This don't make no sense.
Pretty weird. Pretty weird. So then they're like, okay, they had a chip on you. That's how they keep finding you. Then they're going to drive to Varys. And he's all like, tell me about my mom. And you're like, oh, this is bad. And then he's like,
because she's not his mom, right? No, that's not how clones work. Right?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
you share the genetic material of that woman, but you've never interacted with
But
that
so
woman,
would-
so you don't
Yeah,
you don't have a relationship with that
technically,
woman.
so wouldn't his son technically share some genetic material with the grandmother?
Wait, what are we talking about?
I'm just
Whose
saying,
son?
like, if Will had a son,
Yes.
that would still get passed down, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's weird to be like.
Are you saying
this is-
that
I
Will
don't
Smith
know.
and Jr. should have sex and make a baby?
I wasn't saying it, but I'm on board with it. Not that I don't know if that's how things work. Because he's a clone, so we could make him do whatever we want, right?
I don't know. So Varys calls Junior and it's all like, "Oh, look out, they're coming," which is like really weird. Why is he warning? It's very weird.
Because he loves him.
So
He loves him, Dan. He keeps telling you he loves him. You don't believe him.
somehow they stumble onto like another backlot, which is
Yes, that is correct.
supposedly actually a town. Well, I don't think
Yep.
do we ever see it? Oh, well, the cops come, but they get warned off. So the cops,
Yeah, like 2 cop cars start coming, and they're like, and Clive's like, don't come in. They're like, okay, bud, do your
Varys
thing.
like has the secret cop number.
He's got a direct line to
yeah.
the chief of police.
I'm a guy that can call you on your radio. You go away because there's
Okay.
terrorists and viral shit, and yeah, it's not safe.
All right, 10-4, stranger. We're turning around.
Now, Tony.
Yeah.
So they blow up the van, and then the vehicle with the gunman like drives towards them, then drives around them, then drives like another quarter of a mile, and then they open the back and get out.
Yeah. You don't want to get too close to the explosion.
So then they run inside like a diner or a convenience store, and then there's a guy set up. No, sorry. There's a gimp set up on the roof with a minigun.
Yeah.
He then proceeds, the gimp, who's also, this is Junior, but we're not going to find that out yet. And you see him in this weird black mask wearing like this
super
robot outfit. And you're just like, what is happening? He shoots
just randomly
100,000 rounds into this store. Tony, have you ever been in a 7-Eleven?
Dan, I think you know that I go to 7-Eleven quite often because they have the most delicious food in the world. Taquitos are great, but the buffalo chicken rollers are heaven. But yeah, I've been in 7-Eleven, yeah.
Talk to me about the level of protection that the walls in a 7-Eleven would give you versus a minigun.
I feel confident that I could run through the wall. That's how thin I think these walls are. I could Kool-Aid man my way out of a 7-Eleven. So I would say against a bullet, it would be about a 0% protection. It would just, it's paper thin. Pop, pop, pop,
They're
pop.
kneeling behind this little wall, and this guy that has the high ground.
Yeah.
Totally safe.
The angle. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. I won't worry about it.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Because, he's a clone as well. And the clones seem to not be able to kill each other.
They don't see.
That's
they
the
just
rule.
always miss. So then...
But he's the best of the best of the best. So.
Can't shoot anybody with a minigun. So then they just go out, and then they're just like, kill shot, kill shot, kill shot. They just kill the whole army.
Just one shot each. And this is the Gemini squad, right?
They're garbage.
They are the worst team in the world.
Danny, who's never seen any... I mean, I think she saw some military action, but she's never seen any CIA field action that we can assume. No. She's 10 times better than
she's one shot in these guys. It's a little weird.
But she gets shot in the leg. And Henry...
Do you think that Clive Owen is on the roof just watching all this happen and be like, well, there's $18 million wasted. These guys are trash. This is the worst investment we've ever made as a government.
They are shitting so much money down it. All that training versus terrorists and that fake town that they built and have to support.
And they can't do anything.
A commissary and somebody to clean the toilets. We were at the flea market, and I went in the toilets, and that's a job you don't want.
That's a job, man. No.
When Tony goes and
Yeah.
cleans the toilets of the Gemini, thing, he's just like, what is going on here? And then he
who are these people?
starts making a podcast about it, and then Gemini comes to kill him. It's not good.
I only think we'd only get one episode out, so we'd have to make it a good one.
Got to win all the whatever awards they win. Why don't we win any podcast awards?
I think you have to submit for such things.
Start doing that.
I think
start doing that.
Step 1 would be submitting that. Step 2 would be paying the entrance fees, probably. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. Actually, you know what? Step 1, get an audience. That's step 1.
If you like our show, like and subscribe.
That was a great transition. That was really nicely done. That's pro stuff right there.
Okay.
If that doesn't give us 3 more subscribers, nothing will.
Okay, so now Masked Man is the only one left. He's a master of parkour. He's a master of not having a gun.
Yeah, he doesn't need
a gun. He comes
Don't worry about it.
and is parkouring all over their asses.
Just running around poles. I don't know what's going on.
They shoot him.
Yeah,
they shoot him in the head. They shoot him in the leg. They shoot him in the butt. They shoot him everywhere. And the bullets just go like this. They just go. They don't even he doesn't even recoil from the power of the bullet.
No, he doesn't need it.
He leans into him.
He's fine. He is fine.
And then eventually they do the shake and bake. They do they firebomb him.
And
they throw a thing at it and shoots it. It explodes, and then they get him in the paint section, and then the paint starts exploding, and he's all like,
and they get their T-1000 moment where he's on fire, but standing and walking at him in the fire. Yep.
I'm going to tell you something, Tony.
Tell me it.
Body armor does not protect you from fire.
Disagree.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It seemed to do pretty good in this movie. His body wasn't burned at all. He had no burn marks on his face.
Eventually, he falls down, and they take off his helmet, and there's another Junior.
But Junior, because he's even younger. I'm pretty sure he's younger. Right? He seems
slightly younger,
right?
Maybe 5 or 6 years younger. How is he this much better? I guess the dude they killed, this guy's getting those enhancements, but the point is...
But again, that would have been 18 years ago. Why are we just killing this guy now? He broke this thing wide open 2 decades ago. I don't understand.
We got to take him out.
Take him out. Eventually. Let's not rush it. And so Clive Owen says something.
So then after they take him out, Clive Owen walks in and is like, "Now it's my big moment to do a bunch of talking."
Yeah.
You talk about his talking.
Well, first of all, he describes stormtroopers. He wants a bunch of stormtroopers, he wants a clone army that doesn't feel anything. They edited it. He said they edited out pain and some other. What does that mean? Edited out? How do you edit that out? They don't go into that because the science is pretty confusing, I assume. But I don't understand what that. We edited it out. What are you talking about?
The idea would be like, I take a starfish, right? Then I figure out how a starfish is able to regenerate his legs, right? You cut off a starfish's legs, It starts growing a new little baby leg, right? So the idea is maybe we find a thing whose pain receptors, although you are able to register pain, right? Because there's definitely people who can't register pain, right? And what'll happen is they'll stub their toe and not know they stubbed their toe, or hurt their toe, break their toe, and then it becomes necrotic. So they have to be very careful about every piece of their body, but they can't feel. So ostensibly you'd program that into them somehow genetically, whatever that.
But that's bad. I mean, not bad. Sorry if that's offensive, but there are drawbacks to it. So there has to be some way.
You'd make it so
I don't know.
You'd make it so that your pain receptors are don't cause you to react, right?
Sure. This doesn't sound doable.
Like
Dan.
when the dentist goes in with the drill and the pokey in the face, you're like, oh. But if you're like,
that's my nightmare.
If it was just like this, if it felt like this, you wouldn't care, right? Would you care?
Does it still sound like zzz? Because then I would care, okay? I still know what's going on in there.
So he does the whole thing, and we need an army of you, and then at a certain point they're like, okay, who is this really the audience that this pitch is going to work on?
No, because here's the thing.
Why does he?
I agree with
Couldn't he
him.
have just driven away?
Yeah, he should have probably just driven away. Just live to fight another day. You know what I mean?
What's the point of coming down here to try to? It's like I'm gonna come into a room of people that are fundamentally opposed to everything I believe.
Three out of the four of them want to kill me, and that's what.
Oh yeah, they killed Baron right at the beginning too.
Yeah, that he was still in the van.
We didn't even see his death. They were just like, oh, they killed him. It was
yeah, which is pretty rude.
They were like, you don't even need to come in for shooting this day because we're just going to kill you basically off screen.
You're not going to make it through.
We're not even going to let you get shot or let you do something heroic. You're just sitting in a van and you're dead. It's like
you don't get to do anything cool, which is a shame because he's the coolest character in the movie.
You got to give a character something to do before they die. You can't just say, they're dead.
Especially when he's the best friend of your main character and he basically has saved the day multiple times.
Nope, just killed in a van.
Nope.
We don't see his face.
No
we don't see
moment.
his body. There's no reason why he needs to die.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Thank you.
Absolute
so
ridiculous.
Varys is coming back to just basically say, all that stuff I'm doing? I'm doing it.
I'm doing it, baby.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
it's a bad plan. This guy's full of bad plans. Did you see how Gemini worked out? Not so good.
So he's like, don't kill him. You're too good. You're going to be a college student and you're going to score with girls. And then Will Smith goes like this. I had to rewind the movie to figure out what happened. I'm like, what happened?
What do you mean? That he killed him? You didn't say
this is how much this is the motion of killing him. That's it.
Yeah, because you can't let him know that you're going to do it. It's a sneak attack.
Yeah, good snipering.
Which you don't really need because you got your gun pointed at his face. So I don't know. You're winning. I don't know.
And that's the end. We do a little thing where he goes and talks to his old handler, and it's like, you're not going to come and try to kill me. And he's all like, no, you're good.
Right. So the wrap up confuses
What
me.
confuses you?
We don't have to talk about it too much, but Gemini shut down. Who was funding Gemini?
We never know.
Why would they just shut it down? Just because if they thought it was going to work, wouldn't they just keep doing it?
I don't see why not.
Who decided you know what? This was a bad idea. Let's just scrap the whole thing. We've already put $1 billion into this genetics and it just doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for them to shut it down.
Let me tell you something, Tony.
All right, tell me about it.
If they really thought that it was financially viable to clone people for some reason, they would never stop doing it. The government never stops doing anything based on morals. Let me rephrase that. The military and that kind of thing, national security, will never change anything. Ever. Well, apparently they will. But
pretty easily.
Will Smith's like, you better shut down that program or what are you going to do?
Oh, okay.
You're going to go.
Nothing. He already did everything he could. He killed the one guy. He's not going to do it again.
We didn't even see the NSA lady walked away in cuffs, did we? I don't even think we showed her.
I think she's fine. Yeah, I think she's fine.
Back to work.
I won't worry about it.
Work.
And then Will, they all meet up together and they're talking and someone's like, hey, how you doing, Will? And he's like, oh, I'm sleeping better. Why is he sleeping better?
Because the nightmares are gone because he killed Clive Owen.
Why?
Clive Owen.
He wasn't having nightmares about Clive Owen. I don't understand. His nightmare was about his father.
Well,
and then all the people he's killed since, right? Why did killing Clive suddenly cure all of his problems?
Because
that doesn't make sense.
He's doing good in the world now.
He was doing good before. He only killed bad guys, remember? It just doesn't make any sense. He didn't even know Clive was a problem until 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
this was not his problem.
He always knew Clive was a problem. He just didn't know that he was a problem he was going to have to deal with.
Yes, not a personal problem.
He only became
like he's not a great guy. We don't like him, but it's not. He's not thinking about him 24/7 and struggling to survive because he can't stop thinking about this guy. It just doesn't make any sense.
Dopey. And that's Gemini Man. I mean, it wasn't like...
Oh, yeah, and then Will becomes Junior's father, and he visits him at college, and it's just super weird.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. And I don't know, Danny's going to become Will's girlfriend? I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
Or both of their girlfriends. You know, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. She's right in between their ages. Let's be clear.
He had other girls. Definitely he was walking with other girls.
Okay.
So he's...
Attaboy.
You know what?
Junior.
You should have walked up there with a girl that had her same haircut. That would have been interesting.
That would be creepy.
Yeah.
That would be real creepy. I like it, Dan. I'm on
that
board
would have been
with
my
this.
pitch in the room. I'd been like, you gotta do this. That'd be pretty weird. And they're gonna be like, no, but that would draw attention to our movie.
Right. We don't want people to ask too many questions.
We just want them watching the movie and then leaving, like any 2015 movie. And then I'd be like, it's 2019.
Are you sure?
You know,
are you sure about that?
Shannon and I were talking about it. Do you have anything else to say about this movie?
No, I'm all good.
Did you watch the Saltburn movie?
No, it looked too weird.
We were talking about it, and we're just like, that's the movie you got to make now to get the kids interested. You got to make the fucking Saltburn. You know, where you're just like, oh, okay. Now he's sucking stuff out of the bottom of the.
Gotta roll up your sleeves here.
He does like a whole thing with the bathtub after somebody was in the bathtub, and you're just like, okay.
I don't even like to take a bath because I don't like sitting in the filth. So that's terrible.
You would not like the scene. But you know. The kids, this is not what the kids want anymore. They want something where you twist in the knife.
Kids are weird.
Kids are weird. They're doing all sorts of stuff. You know, they're kids.
They're doing all sorts of things.
All the drugs have already been done. Not to say they're not going to do drugs, but all the drugs have already been done.
Until we create new
Music's been done. You know, counterculture's been done. That's why the whole sort of sexuality thing is very big in kid culture now, because it hasn't been done like this before. And that's why they're like, this is our thing. And it's like, you try and tell the kids, you're not allowed to do your thing. You know what the kids are going to do?
They're going to do it twice.
Or 1,000 times.
Or a bajillion.
In your face. And so, you know, this is the Saltburn generation, baby. This is not not me. Not the Goonies generation.
You mean the Monster Squad? Because the Goonies was a trash movie for trash people.
Yeah. Okay, Tony. Now's the point where we talk about something we liked. I finished Dune 2 today.
Oh, okay.
There's some good stuff in it. It's fine.
I don't think that's how you're supposed to walk away from Dune 2.
Oh, how am I supposed to walk away?
I think you're supposed to be like, wow, that was a masterpiece. Oh, it's the best movie ever. I think that's how you're supposed to walk away from it. I didn't watch it.
Dune 1 much better.
Oh, interesting.
Dune 1 much better. Just like the sound design on Dune 1 and just setting everything up. You know, this thing's just like, and they take the thing back.
Sure.
You know, it's like, okay, you know, I knew that was going to happen, but
right.
All the crafting of the world and the characters, and then they just are like, I guess we're going to have to do the thing we do. Oh, we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You know, well, I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah, totally, absolutely worth watching.
When I have 9 hours to kill. Yeah.
It's not that long. It's
got to be. It's like 3, right?
It's like 2.5 or 240, but it's pretty breezy. I watched it in a couple of things, and you know, everybody's so good, and each set piece is you want to watch each set piece. They're all very enjoyable. Austin Butler's great. Everything he does is great in it.
Sure.
But you know, it's like, but Dave Bautista is in it is a lot less in it. So you're just like, oh, we lost him. But you know, Austin's doing his thing, and what's her name?
Zendaya.
Zendaya, she's great. I like her. And then what's his name? What's her name? Who plays White Widow? Natasha's sister. What's her name?
I didn't watch Black Widow. If that's what that's from.
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
She was in.
I fell off.
She's
of the
what's her
Marvel
name
stuff.
from Midsummer?
Midsommar.
Yeah.
I didn't see that either.
What about that Chris Pine movie directed by this stupid woman that we did on the show, where they live in the town in the desert, and the eggs crack themselves, and it's all an illusion.
What are you talking about?
We did it on this stupid show.
I don't remember
Dated
anything we've done before this
by
week.
the woman. It was directed by the woman who was one of House's assistants.
House's assist, like Gregory House from the TV show House.
Yes.
Okay. The blonde one?
No, the hot brunette. And she was like, was like married to someone.
From Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh, she was
her
in Cowboys
name.
and Aliens?
Oh.
She was the
She's from the OC.
She was the hot girl in the new Tron movie.
Wait, now you're talking about the person from this movie again, not Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde was the director.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we got there.
See, that's how my brain works. I don't remember the names, but I can carefully craft 100 movies that a person has been in, but I couldn't give you their name.
That was fun. That was a good
What was the name of that movie we watched? Because it was Florence Pugh was the star, and Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, and Chris Pine. And
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Yeah. I don't remember.
Monster Man.
I don't remember what it was.
Nope. Okay, Tony.
That's not it.
You wrote on how many planes, how many hours did you spend in the air this last week?
I did 4 to Michigan to Minnesota, about 10 hours, I'd say.
10 hours. You probably watched something other than this classic gem.
Well, we actually watched something last weekend, but I will tell you that on the plane, I watched Anyone But You thrice.
What's Anyone But?
This
is
weekend.
that some like sappy love story?
It's not sappy. No, it's fun. It's by the same guy that did Fired Up. Will Gluck. Will Gluck? I think that's his name, something like that. Anyhow, Glenn Powell's in it, and
he's got a new movie.
Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, Hitman's coming out on the 7th, and I'm very excited about it.
I was like, I saw the thing that's like about a hitman and a woman. And I saw this like weird trailer where there's like this hot woman like enticing him, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah. And he's a fake hitman. He pretends to be the hitman.
And then I started watching.
I don't know anything else.
I started watching the trailer, and then I was like, I turned this trailer off. I don't want to see anything about this movie. I just want to watch it because it looks like it might be very funny.
I think it's going to be really good. I love Glenn Powell. I'm super excited about it. Anyhow, this is not what I wanted to. We saw Fall Guy, and it was delightful.
Yeah. That one's not doing well is very confusing.
I don't know. People are weird because it's a summer block. Like, it's great. It's perfect. It's got romance, action, comedy, Gosling, Blunt. I mean, what do you people want? It's great. I loved it.
They want some Saltburn in there, I think.
Stupid Saltburn. We gotta get rid of this movie. That's what we saw, and we loved it.
Good. So our movie for next week, Tony and I already talked about this. We're doing J-Lo's big new jammer. What's it called? Atlas?
Atlas. Yeah. Netflix.
Movie about
this thing.
Fighting against AI, but having to team with an AI to fight against an AI with another AI. You can't trust one AI, but you have to trust the other AI. You just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe AIs are like people. Maybe that's gonna be the moral of the story. It's like,
you think there's gonna be a moral?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what the moral is. I know exactly what the moral is.
Oh boy. Spoiler
there's
alert.
good AIs and there's bad AIs, and you just gotta align yourself with the good ones.
Okay, well, I'll be sure to pick
and
better.
The good AIs are going to be like, I knew that AI was going to be bad, but no one wanted to listen to me.
Not me, not this AI.
It's probably like the government is like, we got to stick with this bad AI because we spent a lot of money on it. But it's Simu Liu as the bad AI, and I'm like, I'm all in for that. I love him.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I'm sure he's going to be like great, you know?
Yeah.
You watch the Barbie movie and you're just like, every minute he's in there, you're just like, he's great. I love him.
Oh, I love everybody in that movie. That movie is
Yeah,
delightful.
Barbie movie's pretty well perfect. Okay, that's the end of the show.
Great work, everybody.
Yeah, that one. Somehow, this one is very long.
It's super long. Yeah, I don't
one
know
of the
what
thinnest
happened.
movies we've ever done. But we had to talk about whatever the weird things we talked about.
I think it got pretty weird for a
Pretty
while.
weird.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week talking about Atlas, and maybe
we'll keep it tight.
Yeah, with the tight 20.
Tight 20. People would love that. We'd get so many views.
We'll go for it. We'll try. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him!